Hello and welcome. I'm Millicent Walker. Tonight, police arrest another suspect in connection with Thursday's deadly bank robbery in Kwara State, just as the Inspector General of Police deploys mobile force units to Kwara and Taraba states to beef up security. One person dies from a suspected explosion at a non-residential building in Ile-Ife, Osun State. President Muhammadu Buhari leaves for the United Kingdom on Monday, where he is billed to meet with British Prime Minister Theresa May ahead of the Commonwealth Heads of Governments meeting. And US President Donald Trump blames Russian and Syrian presidents for the chemical attack on civilians, which killed dozens of Syrians. Let's begin with news from Nigeria's police force, as they have confirmed the arrest of the 8th principal suspect connected to the April 5th, 2018 bank robbery in Kwara State, which claimed many lives, leaving several people injured. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the force's public relations officer, Jimoh Moshood, explains that the immediate intervention of a high-powered police investigation team working with the Kwara State Criminal and Investigation Department resulted in the arrest. According to the police, 12 suspects responsible for the recent killings in Donga and Bali local government areas of Taraba State were also taken into custody.
The immediate interventions and the preliminary investigation carried out by the high-power police investigation team have resulted in the arrest of 8 principal suspects in the case of a bank robbery and the killings in the 2 local governments mentioned in Taraba State. The intervention team that are deployed are to ensure adequate raid of all the identified criminal hideouts, and equally where some of these suspects that have not been arrested presently hiding. They are equally to ensure feasibility patrol and discreet investigation into these 2 incidents. The IGP team, working in synergy with the State Criminal Intelligence and Investigation Department of the 2 states, they have made successes that have resulted in the arrest of 8 principal suspects that I've said earlier on in connection with the bank robbery incident, and 12 suspects directly responsible for the recent killing in Donga and Bali local government area of Taraba State. They have also recovered 7 AK-47 rifles, 4 locally made revolver pistol, and 30 rounds of AK-47 ammunition, and equally recovered were 7 operational vehicles of the armed bandits and the assailants in the 2 states.
One person has reportedly died in an explosion that destroyed a story building around Ile-Ife town in Osun State. Eyewitnesses say the blast, which occurred late Saturday night in the non-residential building, may have been triggered by an improvised explosive device inside a pharmacy. An unidentified injured man was later evacuated from the back of the building and rushed to the Obafemi Awolowo Teaching Hospital, where he later died. Residents have been thrown into confusion following the incident, which also severely damaged adjoining buildings. And in the wake of farmers and herdsmen crisis in some states in the northeast, religious leaders have been urged to promote peace. Governor Umaru Jibrilla of Adamawa State made this comment when he received the leadership of the Christian Association of Nigeria and Muslim Council of Nigeria.
One of the dangers of leaving a wound unattended to is that it can begin to affect other parts of the body. That wound is the battle between herdsmen and farmers, which has left hundreds dead. And the other part the crisis is spreading to is religion, where Christian and Muslim leaders have been trading blame. However, there appears to be a ray of hope towards peace, as both religious bodies are here at the government house in Adamawa State to seek ways of addressing the issues.
What we have seen or heard in the past 3 months, it is very unfortunate. We all know that it started like farmers, headers crisis, and now it is changing the scenario completely. It's now becoming an ethno-religious crisis.
We are dormant in the past, but from December last year to this time, we have been reactivated and we have started working. So we're here in order to tell you that we are now on board and we are on course. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity in order to interact with you and your members of the Executive Council and your advisors. It is our hope and prayer that this interaction will be a very, very fruitful one.
This administration is concerned.
The state governor, Mohammed Jibriya, is pleased with the development. For him, united is the only way the nation can move beyond the differences.
That this is the gospel that we've been trying to preach since we came into position, that we are all one, and Adamawa is first before everybody. And I'm also happy to report to you the committee that we have established to see the problems of the herdsmen and farmers has gave us the report, and we have already started implementing almost all the recommendations that was there in the report.
Governor?
As peace is being preached by the religious leaders here, it is expected that followers will heed to the instructions to make all the effort worthwhile.
President Muhammadu Buhari will tomorrow be leaving the country for an official visit to Britain, where he will be meeting with the British Prime Minister Theresa May. The meeting will be coming ahead of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which starts on April the 18th. Aside from his meeting with the British Prime Minister, President Buhari would also be meeting with Chief Executive Officer of Royal Dutch plc, Mr. Ben van Beurden. This meeting is in connection with a proposed investment plan of $15 billion by Shell and some of its partners. The President will also renew discussions with the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Most Reverend Justin Welby, on interreligious harmony in Nigeria and the world. Since the release of names of alleged looters by the federal government, there have been a series of controversies on the efficacy of the anti-corruption war being prosecuted by the Buhari-led government. While the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Sage, has asked those who feel aggrieved by the list released to seek redress legally and bring up their own list of those who have looted the Treasury. Excuse me. Professor Sage says the recoveries made in the anti-corruption war are monumental and mind-boggling, but insists that some elites have waged war against the government, which he says it's a clear case of corruption fighting back. Meanwhile, the main opposition, PDP, has disagreed on this and says the APC government is unfair in its dealings. The party's legal advisor was a guest on our political program, Sunday Politics, alongside Professor Sage.
The release of the list is in accordance with a court order. I won't be surprised if more names surface, because there's a very large number of these people who presided over the looting of the assets of this country. As I said, the concentration is narrowly on the issue of convictions, which are bound to come anyway. A lot of these assets are being recovered on a daily basis. If you invite the FCC particularly, they give you the full list. It's mind-boggling. All that money and assets have been recovered. That's a major march forward in the fight against corruption. This government has poured its heart and might into fighting corruption. But corruption has fought back. And the shocking aspect of it is that it is the elite, the educated, the powerful, who have been fighting this government. They have, in fact, been so violent in the opposition to the fight against corruption that one is even shocked. And I'm impressed that we've gone as far as we've gone.
All right.
But the opposition is very, very strong.
There's no other institution, there's no other strategy, there's no other parameter that has been brought into place by the APC-led government in the last 3 years, as an instrument, as a part of institutional, device for the fighting of corruption. So it is not about fighting corruption, just on the pages of newspaper or as a political strategy. It is about fighting corruption through institutions, and that is what PDP had done. If you look at the history of fighting corruption throughout from 1999 till date, you notice that it is only PDP that's convicted people on the issue of corruption. What the APC is doing is using corruption fight as a political machinery, and I'm saying that is improper in Nigeria.
In the run-up to the River State local government elections, Governor Nyesom Wike has warned candidates against using his name to try and gain political advantage. The governor said this when a delegation from Opobo Nkoro local government area visited him at the government house in Port Harcourt. Flooding in Delta State is being addressed by the state government with proper channeling in the capital city, Asaba. The State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. John Nani, indicated that the exercise will complement the storm water drainage being constructed by the government.
The Anwai stream is a fresh inland water body that serves as drainage channel, reservoir for runoff waters from nearby farms and residential estates. Therefore, the stream is very important to the residents of the state capital. The rains are somewhat around the corner, therefore the need to control floodwaters has become paramount. Due to this season, the river is being dredged to ensure that floodwaters are effectively channeled into the capital city and other parts of the state. Here at the river, swamp buggies are used to ensure blocked canals are opened up, taking out everything in its way for free flow of water. Expressing confidence that the government's intervention will address flood menace, residents of the community who spoke during the exercise thanked the state government for the timely intervention.
I must confess that they are doing a great job here for now, because as at last rainy season, no one that stays here could stay here. There was a heavy fraud here as at last year. But now I think everybody can believe with their eyes that Okowa and the Ministry of Works is doing a great job. Now the rain that falls now has a channels where it has a free flow to the river.
About as of 3 years ago, we are having a serious problem here based on erosion. And I pray to God that I give them the more strength to do the job.
So open this place wide.
The Commissioner for Environment says the exercise is necessary to avoid communities around the area from being washed away when the rain fully comes.
Flooding has really ravaged the capital city of Asaba. What the governor is doing presently now is stormwater drainages all over the area in Asaba. The discharge point, the final discharge point is River Niger, but these are tributaries to River Niger. Little streams are canals. We are now opening them up to receive this water from the storm drainage, because there are community lying along these canals. If they are not well opened, by the time the water from the city comes in, the community will be flooded.
When completed, the storm drains will effectively check the incidence of flooding in the capital city.
Well, let's take you back to River State, where the governor has raised an alarm over an alleged attempt to frame him up in some illegal activities. Mr. Nyesom Wike is accusing the federal government of making plans to plant illegal items on him during his trips outside the country. The governor says that he uncovered this plot after an investigation. He alleges that the alleged plot is to be carried out by security agencies attached with the federal government, all in a bid to smear his image. Mr. Wike condemns the alleged plot meant to silence him and put him in bad light with Nigerians within and outside the country. In part 2, after the break, Channels Television's data analyst Babajide Ogunsonwo joins us to discuss the compliance level of Nigerians with the Independent National Electoral Commission's call for collection of permanent voter cards. Please stay with us.